Brandon Brands.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This week we talk about the number one key to creating transformation with your coaching clients. Check it out.
In a world where advertising is ignored, business is exposed, and the only constant is change, how do you build a brand that matters? Welcome to Brands on Brands on Brands, a home for those who think different and push their boundaries. This is where branding that matters lives. Now, here's your host, Brandon Birkmeyer.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Brandon Birkmeyer, your personal marketing coach, and I believe that building brands that matter is the only way for a business to thrive tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in each week as we bring you marketing thought leaders and entrepreneurs, keynote speakers, authors, top podcasters, all bringing you the knowledge on how they built their brands, what the marketing tactics are, what the secrets are, so that you can take those and move forward. Yes, it's our way of getting you there faster. So thanks for tuning in. Excited to have you here. And if this is your first time, just go ahead, go to brandonbrands.com if you want to know more about me, you want to know more about the show, and you want to get some of our resources that we've developed throughout the show. All the freebies are there on the website, as well as ways to contact me, join my insider group, get the emails each week, all there at brandonbrands.com. Explore, check it out. I'd love to connect with you. And this week, I'm excited. We're diving into the final installment of this 13 episode series. If you haven't noticed, this is a series about my personal branding framework, the Brandon Brands Personal Branding Framework. The idea came about in episode 74 for this personal branding framework. And I kicked season 2 off in episode 94, talking about what the framework is, this idea of message, community, and impact, helping you create your personal brand. So message was about finding your voice, about figuring out what you are known for. Community has been about how you create authority, bring and gather people around your message, build your list, and then learn from them what you can help them with to have part 3, which is impact. And that impact being how you help people have a transformation in their lives. So that's what this has been about, 13-part series on that, starting with episode 94. Every solo episode has been an explanation diving into every chapter and subchapter of this idea, this concept. So if you are all about the personal branding space, or there's certain areas you want to focus on more, you can go through that list and see what works for you. This episode is the last one. This one is the impact piece of it. So there's been 3 episodes on impact. The first was about framework, your framework for coaching. The second was about the tools and resources you need to develop your toolkit to be a coach. And the third is today, which is about a value exchange, which is about the number one secret to creating a transformation in someone else's life that you're coaching. And the secret is value exchange. That's what we're diving into today, how you create that, how you deliver that, and what the pieces are, why it's important. So let's get into it. I'm excited. Thanks for tuning in. And you can go back at any point and listen to those episodes. And if you like it, if you found value, all I ask from you, since this is free content we put out each week, if you haven't already subscribed and left a review, do that. But the main thing is, if you can go to Instagram, like screenshot this episode, go to Instagram and post it and let people know in your stories, wherever you want to put it, that this is what you're listening to today and why you like it. And tag me in it at Brandon Birkmeyer, and I will respond. And I appreciate you guys. So that's what you can do for me today. Here's what I can do for you. We're going to talk about the last piece of creating impact in your coaching business, which is value exchange. So here we go. Funny is I save this for last, right? So I can mention that. So the reason I put this last is a lot of us, I think we gloss over this idea of goals and figuring out, why we're doing something and who it's for and how we're going to help them. And I learned this a long time ago after 18 years of marketing, that if you don't have a well-defined goal, you are never going to hit the mark because you don't know what mark you're aiming for. And like in anything in this life, If you are very clear about what you're aiming for and what you're intending and how you're measuring that, then you are better prepared, better off, better set to hit that goal right in the middle. Now, you can do the research on like what makes a good goal, and we can talk about a little bit about that here. There's something called SMART goals, which is like they are specific, they are measurable, they are things I think that you can take action on, et cetera, et cetera. But Google SMART goals, SMART, it's an acronym, and you can do the research there on what it all means to have a very effective goal setting approach. So I'm not going to go through that in today's episode. Today's about value exchange, but the reason I'm bringing it up is that the critical piece of creating value and transformation for someone is to understand what it is that you guys are trying to accomplish together, what it is that is going to change, how you're going to make a difference. So hopefully everyone you're bringing to you has a similar purpose and goal in mind. They were brought to you, your messaging attracted them because you made a promise, because you told them that wherever they are, you can take them from where they are now to where they want to be. And you've defined what that is. And that's why they've found you. That's why they've gotten into it. But if by chance that's not what happened, if by chance you had a more open way of getting to know them and you've had some discovery calls and you found that they have, a certain thing that you can help them with, your goal is to have a conversation with them about exactly what you want to accomplish, exactly what the goal is, what the purpose is. So step one in value exchange is you have to make a difference and you have to define what that difference is. So step one, make a difference, a real difference in someone's life. Step two is there has to be a dollar commitment, and we'll talk about that. Some kind of value commitment actually is a better way of putting that. Has to be a value commitment. And number three is there has to be measurable return on investment, measurable ROI, measurable return. So number one, make a difference. Number two, a value commitment. Number three, a measurable return. Okay. So let's talk about make a difference. Now, imagine you work with someone, you give them some tips. They feel a little bit better off. They maybe have some resources that helps them, but you got them moving on something, but you never defined with them where they were going to end up. What they're going to feel when they left that coaching engagement is that they didn't finish something. And the only way to know and feel that sense of completeness, that sense of closure in a coaching relationship is to really define what success looks like. Exactly, top to bottom. Is it that you have a finished product? Is it that you have a measurable result? Is it that they built something together? Is it that they know the steps they need to move forward? Whatever the thing is, you need to define. Before the call, you didn't have this. After the engagement or sessions, you didn't have this. And afterwards you do. Before you will have looked like this and now you'll look like that. Whatever the thing is, you guys have to define that. And you have to be responsible, not them. You, the coach, needs to be responsible for laying out exactly what it is that results looks like, what it is that objective looks like. So for me, it's pretty simple to begin with, you would think, right? It's you didn't have a podcast. If I'm helping you build a podcast, you didn't have one before. At the end, you do. Now, do you go a step further? Do you say you'll have a well-positioned podcast? Do you say you'll have a podcast that I guarantee you, after I give you these systems, you will be able to build consistently over time, that you give them the tools you need to get past the hurdle so that you can do this all the time over and over and over again? Or is it that you'll have a successful podcast? You'll have something that is ranked in a certain way. Is it that you'll have the tools you need to get the right speakers on the show and that you'll have defined who those people are that are actually going to build authority in your industry? All these things are great, but having the definition of that is what matters. Understanding with the person, what is your goal with this? Is it to make money? Is it to grow an audience? Is it to build authority? Is it to set the foundation for a coaching business? What is it? Those are all things you guys need to work out together. And you as a coach can outline that and you say, hey, for me, these are the kind of people I work best with. And this is what we define success as. This is what we're looking to accomplish. And this is what I can actually help you with. And once you have that result, that purpose, that goal set, then you can make a difference. You can only make a difference if you know what the goal is that you're shooting for. That's the point. And if you're not setting a goal that actually makes a difference in someone's life, that actually is going to change or transform them in the way that actually helps them, that actually solves those problems that they have, that is a solution to the barriers that they are facing, that they're confronting, then it's not worth it. So the step is to define the goals and create the purpose. But the heart of it is that it actually has to be truly connected to something that's going to move them forward towards what they're really trying to accomplish. So you have to make a measurable difference, a real difference in their lives, in their careers, in their path, whatever it is you're helping them with. So step one, make a difference. Step two in this value exchange idea in creating transformation is a value commitment. It is a dollar commitment, a value commitment. It doesn't have to be money. That's why I've kind of changed it to say value commitment. Typically it's money, but it could just be for maybe some initial engagements for those of you getting started. It could just be a testimonial. It's like, hey, if we do this well, I would love a thoroughly engaged testimonial, whether it's video or audio or written or whatever it is. That's what my expectation is one that you're at the end of this. If you've been changed, that you'll give that. And number two, that you will put in the effort to get this done successfully, to make it a priority, to not put it on the back burner, because I need someone that can move through this quickly so I can continue to grow my process at a rapid pace. I need someone that's willing to work hard right off the bat. I don't need the person that's dragging their feet that this doesn't matter to because you're not paying for it, if that's the thing. If they are paying for it, the reason that has to be established up front is the people that are putting in the work need to understand on their end why they're doing it. What's the value of it? Well, I paid for it, whatever it is. And I don't know who started the quote or who says it, but the idea that people value things that they pay for is important. And I've also heard that people chase the things that run away from them, and they have all that stuff going on. But the truth is, when you assign a monetary value to something, when you spend money, it's you making an investment, you making a commitment, and it's more than just your time. It's your resources, it's your money, it's your effort. And that commitment from the person who's engaging with you in the coaching relationship has to be present. They need to feel that they are risking wasting something or losing something if they don't follow through. And a lot of us need that. A lot of us, will keep the words to ourselves, but a lot of us won't. A lot of us won't finish what we start. And you don't want to start a relationship with someone that isn't going to finish. So your best way to ensure that is to make sure that they are in it and committed, and finding a way to develop that commitment is honestly, it's what's going to help them. The person that takes your class and pays for your stuff but doesn't finish didn't get value. So if you actually want to transform someone, they need to be able to complete the thing you're doing. So just creating a digital course isn't going to create transformation, because you're not guaranteed to finish this course and to take action on this course. So when you're working one-on-one with someone, the piece that is defining, the thing that sets this apart, is that you can establish upfront, what's the value exchange? What are we going to do to make sure you're committed to this process? And it can be a combination of these things, but there has to be some kind of value exchange so that the person who's on that other end of the relationship is fully invested in challenging themselves to go deeper and follow through. And it's not just finishing. A lot of us can finish something, but there's something about really being challenged to dive deeper, to do the harder things, to ask the extra question, to go further above and beyond and make something good that takes us through that transformation process. That extra effort is what makes results, more than just good. It makes them great. So finding the people that are willing to do that, it takes a higher level of commitment. So you being able to raise the stakes to establish a higher level of commitment with your people will get better performance out of them, because they feel the loss if they step away and they break that commitment. So there is this value commitment piece of it that is super important in actually creating transformation. Not everyone is self-motivated. Sometimes they need to start from outside of themselves to find the energy to be committed to this process. Or maybe it creates a reality check for them to say, do I actually have the time to finish what I'm going to start on this? Or maybe it's not the right time for me. If you don't challenge them, they'll sign up for anything, but they won't follow through. If you challenge them to say, no, this is a real commitment and it's going to burn if you don't finish, then they have to figure out, well, does this fit into my schedule? Is this something I'm ready for right now? Are there other things I need to do first? They're going to be honest with themselves about that, because they realize there's a real sense of loss if they don't do it. So there has to be a value commitment. That's number two. And number one is it has to make a real difference in a goal that you set. Number 2 is it has to be a value commitment. And number 3 is there needs to be measurable ROI. There needs to be a measurable difference that happens that you can point to and say, you did this or you didn't do this, and you did this well or you didn't do this well, whatever that is. Those outcomes, you can write out, what are the results going to be? Is it quantifiable in some way? And it's not just the hours you put in, it's what is happening at the end of the process. So you look back at these goals, you say, okay, my goal is to have a show. Well, how do I define that? Well, a show for me means not only that I've recorded an episode, but that I've built a series of episodes that can be recorded. I've got the proper intros and outros. I've got the cover art. I've done the work to find a position for my show that is ownable. And I've set myself up to continuously deliver that for a number of weeks that I've committed to upfront. Like that is a deliverable show that I'm proud of, that I have guests that I know, like, and respect, that I really want to help me define my business, whatever that is. It is something that you can point to and say, that was it achieved or was it not? Let's check it off the list. How do you find the measurement of that? And you can take it a step further and say, I just don't want a show. I want the show that accomplishes this goal. Okay, well, what's the goal? How do you define that? Is it a number of downloads and follows? Is it the business behind, for me, the podcast? Like, what's the business behind the podcast? Okay, what's the goal for the business? How many leads are going to come from the podcast? Or are we trying to use the business to drive leads to the podcast and create a way to get a cold lead turned into a warm lead, or whatever the thing is? We can define how many people are coming into your funnel and all that stuff. Like, what are the number of new people in your world that convert to buyers, that convert to people who are loyal advocates, whatever it is. Let's define the numbers behind the business, behind the coaching program, behind the thing I'm helping you build, behind the thing I'm helping you learn. And at the end of it, there needs to be some kind of return. This person, like we said, don't take on a client if there's not some kind of commitment there, some kind of value commitment. That says, I'm in this, I'm going to finish it. And then when they finished it, was it worth it? Okay, you put all this investment and money into it. What is the return? What am I getting out of it that shows value, that is measurable, that says, yes, this is complete and I've gotten exactly what I wanted out of it and I've set myself up for success. I see this a lot in marketing, guys, where they don't set the proper goal. They don't set the measurable ROI. They don't make the commitment. And here's a good example. You hire someone to do your Instagram for you, right? And the only goal that you've committed to with them is, make my brand look good. So they start posting a bunch of stuff. And then you realize, so you're spending all this money month to month, but there's no one actually coming into your business and turning into leads for your business. Then you start to realize why did I do this in the first place? And the problem isn't the job that you paid someone to do. They did what they said. They created a beautiful Instagram page for you with posts on it, but you defined the wrong goals. You didn't define a goal that actually makes a difference in your business. So if you set the right goal, you can say, well, actually, I want some ROI on this. Okay, well, some dollars driven into my business. Okay, well, what is that? And then you can come up with what's realistic for that and say, okay, now how do we measure that? Well, I get that my part of it's going to be converting these people, but maybe it's leads. Okay, what's your lead count? How are we going to get leads from this thing that we're doing? Maybe just posting on Instagram isn't what's going to get me there, or maybe it is, but let's figure out how that works. Because if you haven't designed that from the beginning, maybe you aren't taking the right tasks to set yourself up for success. So come up with a measurable ROI, a measurable return that you guys can look at and say, does this map to our goals? Is it something that I can look at and count and say yes or no, it was successful, and to what degree was it successful? Because at the end of the day, you want your clients to have expectations that you can point to and say, we all agreed to this. There's no confusion here. We know what success looked like. And then you'll have happy clients when you deliver on and hopefully exceed those expectations, because you knew what they were. You knew what the goal was. And if you can deliver and exceed those expectations, and you can create a meaningful experience together that gives them this difference, this change that they've asked for, that they put in the energy for, and that you built this thing together, and now there's results happening. When you've done all that together, impact is what's happening. You are making an impact through this shared meaningful experience with your coaches, your clients, your customers. And that shared meaningful experience creates advocacy, creates impact in someone's life, creates someone who's going to go out there and tell your story to other people and say, this is what he did for me. you need this thing because I know you're in the same place I was. Without that, you're not going to have impact. When you don't know what it is you're shooting for and you can't measure if it was successful or not. And people are like, well, did you like it? Well, yeah, they're doing my stuff, but who knows if it's working? That doesn't help you. You want to make an impact in someone's business and life. And this is the way forward to do that. So hopefully you guys understand that, find value in that, and can build that into your business the way it is. Hopefully you've followed me on this journey and love these steps within the personal branding framework, the Brand and Brands personal branding framework, and you like that. If you've missed some episodes, you can go back and figure it out from season 2 on. I try to draw that line so you guys can easily jump into it. And there's interviews peppered in throughout that are in and out of like what branding's about, and we have different topics for that. But look at the solo episodes, and you will see a clear delineation of message for 3 episodes, community for 3 episodes, impact for 3 episodes, where we talked about all these different things. And I laid all that up front. Episodes 95, 96, 97, all get into like the founding ideas of message, community, impact. And then we dive deep on the next 9. So that's all there for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've loved putting this together for you. It's obviously something I'm very passionate about. I love working on people's personal brands and helping you move forward and design what's going to be impactful for you. And now I've got to come up with what the next thing is going to be about. What's the next subject that I can dive into a little deeper? I will be figuring that out, but you'll have to tune in to the next solo episode to see where we go with it. But I appreciate you guys coming with me on this journey, telling your friends about it. And again, if you want to work with me and build your personal brand, I am taking on some clients for that, whether it's working on your podcast and helping you launch a podcast so you can find your voice and your message, or you just want some consultative relationship. I'm happy to just jump on the phone and help you guys with some things and figure out how we can work together. You can do that at brandonbrands.com/apply and get going. So that's it for this week. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love it when you guys are tuning in and sharing the episode. So keep doing it. Leave a rating and review and subscribe if you have not already. And I will catch you guys next time. Thank you.
You've just taken your marketing knowledge to another level with this episode of Brands on Brands on Brands. But we have plenty more ways to not just help you build a business, but build a brand. Head over to brandonbrands.com for more resources, as well as access to our blogs, videos, and exclusive coaching sessions with your host. Be sure to visit brandonbrands.com.